If you've been following this series on the Cafe Racer, you'll know I had a problem with my barrels or pistons, and it's taken me a while to solve that. You'll see I've already got barrels and I've got some pistons here, so obviously I've done something. If you remember, the problem was the original barrels had been bored to slightly too big for the pistons. Now, the pistons, Yoshimura, they're actually 823cc, but they're marked as 812. They were made, or when they were made, they were machined to 0.5 mm bigger than the 812cc pistons. Yoshimura did this, you know, they didn't make new castings and mark them up as 823. They actually just made them so that they would work at that little bit extra capacity. Now the problem with that is, it sent me down a rabbit hole of trying to find out what the hell I needed to do to make these work. Now it looks like the original owner thought they were 812cc and bought piston rings that would suit these. The CB750 twin piston rings usually that will work with these in various oversizes. But obviously they were too small, and through inexperience or for some reason or another, they still use those piston rings, perhaps believing they were right. But when I came to look, I discovered that the piston rings, the gap was nearer to 2 mm and it should be sort of 0.2 of a mil. Problem with this was that it had caused scratching in the bore, which is a real shame because it meant that not only were the bores slightly oversized, which I might have been able to get away with, but in honing those scratches out, it took them to absolutely nowhere near. So I had to decide what to do. And part of my thoughts were, let's just get standard 750cc pistons and barrels and away we go. And I've got a set of them and I could have used them. But these pistons kept niggling me. I wanted to use them. So what I did was kept my eye open. Eventually I found barrel and the cylinder head on eBay, and I put on a prospective bid, very, very low, and I got them. Here's the pictures of them being, you know, as I got them delivered. Now obviously weren't ready to be used with bigger pistons, so I needed to clean the barrel up first. These are on standard bore, and although they're a bit rusty inside the bores, I mean that'd just be taken out anyway. Little bit of fin damage on this corner, which I'm going to try and just smooth because you got the head sat on it, so it probably shouldn't be that visible. And other than that, they seem in reasonably fine fettle, so what I'm going to do is give them a really good clean up. Got it into the parts washer so that I can get all the grease off. make sure that I got all of the paint off as much as I could, so I used some paint stripper. Then wire brushed quite a bit of it off so that it had a reasonable surface. Even with the paint stripper and the wire brushing, there still needed a bit more doing. So I used my homemade soda blasting technique. This uses baking soda, which you can buy by the multi-kilos, and it also used a gun that you use for probably for cleaning up brickwork and such like, but I used it outside so that I could actually clean the barrels off. It works quite well. Only trouble is, it's either a total loss system, or if like me and you try and mitigate that, you can collect all the powder back in, sieve it, and put it through again. So you can use it a few times, but overall you probably lose a quarter to a third every time that you use it. When I got the barrels nicely cleaned up, I thought, shall I paint them now or shall I leave it? And I thought, well, I'm sending them away for machining, so I thought the best thing is I'll send them away, get them machined, and then I'll finish the cosmetics off afterwards. This is the barrels as I've got them back. So my next job is going to be give them a clean over, give them a degrease, make sure I've got a nice surface to put some high heat paint on them and get them so that they cosmetically will go back on the bike. I'm going to do that in my next video. I'll also have to think about the piston rings and the pistons and making sure that they work with these barrels. The company that's bought them specifically to the pistons, so each piston is matched to a barrel. You'll see that in the next video. If you're interested in how this bike actually does end up turning out and you want to follow along, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching anyway, but we do quite a few videos on different cars, different bikes, even a transit van. So it might be worth subscribing and watching some of the stuff that we do.